guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello, hi, I'm Jyotsna and welcome to my Booktube channel where I talk about books and books. So basically this series is the weekly read series. If you do not know, I talk about the books that I read in the past week and the ones that I'm reading currently, and also I discuss my reading plan specifically. Okay, so in the past week I've had a great reading week. I finished 2 books in the last week, and the first book that I finished was The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak. And honestly, this book is like chef's kiss. Okay, this is like the epitome of all the chef's kiss in the world. I absolutely love this book. This is my first Elif Shafak, and although I had stated that this is not the first book by Elif Shafak that I want to read, I ended up reading it because it was longlisted for the Women's Prize, for fiction 2022, that is. And I loved it. The story is basically based in Cyprus, and it keeps switching between 1970s Cyprus and 2010s London. And it talks about how Kostas is a Greek boy and Daphne is a Turkish girl, and Turks and Greeks are fighting on the island, and these two sweethearts just fall in love. These two teenagers fall in love, and it's their love story. It's a very, very beautiful book. Talks about all the themes that you see in the world today, be it war, be it immigration, refugees, and of course nature, because there is also a perspective for a fig tree given in the book, and it talks about how nature has its own way of looking at things. Okay, I recommend this for sure. I'm hoping this gets shortlisted. So moving on to the next book that I finished, and that is this one. This is India's China Challenge by Anand Krishnan, and I actually started reading this book in February, and I only finished it in April, which is a long time. So basically, to give you a gist about this book, it talks about China and India in multiple, I would say, through multiple lenses. Does that make sense? Like, it talks about politics, it talks about economy, history. It also talks about portraits, like individual connections that some Chinese have with Indians and things like that. It's a very, very interesting book overall. However, I did find this book to be somewhat of there were some things that the book does not explain. For someone who did not learn much about Chinese history in school, and I'm learning it through books, this book is not the first book that you pick up when you read about China or India or Indo-China history in general. Okay, of course it has very good insights and good perspectives, considering the author was in China for a very long time, and very few Indian correspondents are there in China, like very few Indian journalists. One of the complaints that Anand Krishnan has in the book is that a lot of international news agencies have journalists stationed in Beijing, covering a lot of activities that a lot of things basically in China, but India just has 4 of them. And that's very interesting because this is as of 2020, and this book was written during the pandemic, the first year of the pandemic, and that's in 2020. Another thing that I had a problem with was terms like the Cultural Revolution and the Great Leap Forward were not explained. Now, for me, I had read this in Barbara Demick's Eat the Buddha, which is a great, I would say, explanation, and it's very relevant, in the book. But in this book, I wish to see at least one paragraph explaining what the Great Leap was and what the Cultural Revolution was, which I did not find. So that's why I ended up reading this book 4 stars. However, if you're still interested in reading about Indo-China relationships, if you're interested in geopolitics in general, then I do recommend this book. It's an easy to read book, to be honest, but it's just that it does not have basic information, and you may have to Google it, but it does give you like a 360-degree perspective on China and India. So yeah, that's that. And that being said, let's get to the books that I'm reading currently. So the first book that I'm reading, and I'm done with like about 31% of the book, is The Perfect World of Miwaku Sumida by Clarissa. and so I cannot pronounce her surname, unfortunately. She's an Indonesian Singaporean author, and that was very interesting for me. So basically this book is set in Japan in the 1980s or so, where it talks about Miwako Sumida, who's actually died by suicide at the start of the book, and it's just that her friends are baffled and they are in search of answers. Now, I had put this book a bit on hold because I wanted to finish, the other two books that I was reading, because as you know, I follow a first in, first out system. But my plan is to, of course, finish this book next and do it quickly, because it's actually a short book. It's not like a long book. It's just like about 250 pages. So yeah, I'm reading an ebook for this one. So that being said, the next book that I'm reading is for my group read, and if you do not know, I host a group read on Instagram for non-fiction books. It's called On Reading Nonfiction. Now, of course, it's a bit late to join the read along for this one, but if you want to join for the next one, please DM me on Instagram and I will add you to the group. So this is The Silent Coup by Josie Joseph, and every time I read this book, my reaction is just, what? Like, what? Like, I am an Indian and all of these things are happening and I am not doing anything about it. I'm not able to do anything about it. It's just surprising. Basically, the book talks about the power that, law enforcement agencies have, and how there are a lot of false arrests, false encounters, just to show the world or just to show the citizens that yes, we are doing something in order to curb terrorism, or we are doing something in order to curb antisocial elements and things like that. And this book is really triggering, so please read it at a time when you are mentally doing good. But I would say it's an eye-opening read, easily going to be 5 stars for me, because it's revealing a lot of things that many of us normal citizens of the country do not know about. If there is some form of epitome of true crime non-fiction in India, it is this one. Like, this is the book that you have to read. Okay, you love true crime, you love non-fiction, you love watching Netflix series about murderers and killers. I think you'll like this, because this talks about a similar theme in the Indian law enforcement. So yeah, that's that. And that being said, the last book that I'm reading is a book that I cannot talk about much, but it's because it's something I'm reading for the quarterfinals of the Booktube prize. So I'm judging fiction round C this time, and generally what I do is I enroll for the quarterfinals and then I enroll for the finals as well, which is a good way to do it, I feel. So the book that I'm reading, yes, is The Five Wounds by Kirsten Balkes. I don't remember her middle name. So I think we'll have to wait till the end of the Booktube Prize quarterfinal season to actually get to know my thoughts about the book. Okay, and that being said, yes, my reading plans, because I have a lot of reading plans in place. So the first one is, of course, reading for the Booktube Prize. I have time till May end to finish it off, so that accordingly the results can come out. The second thing is, there's Lit with Indian Lit that's happening in April, and it's hosted by Smriti, and I'm planning to join that as well. But I don't think I'll be reading extensively. Like, I generally read extensively for with Indian Lit every year. But what I'll be doing is I'll be picking up like 3 books or so, which of course is translated Indian fiction, and I'll be reading them. And also, one more thing that I'm reading is the Women's Prize long list. And although the short list will only come out on 27th April, it's like a long way, to be honest. But I am trying to, fit in a couple of more books in the schedule. I've already read The Sentence by Louis Erdrich and the Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak, which have been already long listed. But I have more plans of reading, like picking up 2 more books in that particular list, and I'm also supposed to buddy read one of them with someone. So that's some plans, in the making. And yeah, those are my reading plans basically. So yes, that's it for this video. I will see you on my next one. I am in the process of uploading more videos. A lot of videos are coming up right now on this channel. So please consider doing the usual, that is liking, commenting and subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.